Extreme demons are the hardest difficulty in the game. Just kidding, I'm not doing an intro with information that everyone and their grandma knows already. So yeah, you read the title already, unless you misclicked on this video, and in that case, please stay. Whether you need a first extreme or an experienced player looking for something quick to beat, I hope you get something out of this list. I've beaten all these levels, so this is entirely my opinion. If you disagree, or you think another level should be on here, that's okay. Anyways, let's get started. This is probably one of my favorite levels in the game. DK by Kiwi Penguin has a timing level entirely in slow speed, and it has no spikes too. Not only is this level really cool and unique, but it's also really fun. I'm a big fan of well-made quirky gameplay, and this level definitely has that. This level also syncs pretty well with your clicks. Obviously not as much as flow layout number 801 though. Levels that don't sync to that extent overall just work more and play better. Also, I just have to mention the decoration. Even though it has nothing to do with the difficulty, there's just so many neat ideas. I love it so much. To be fair, not all of them are completely original, but they still look cool, okay? Now, why is it on this list? Well, the timings aren't the hardest thing of all time. There's definitely more wiggle room compared to other timing levels. It's also just really easy to get used to this level and learn it. So yeah, definitely pretty low end. But yeah, this is a really good level. I recommend it to everyone. This is for all you memory lovers out there. Lost Love by TheBlackHell is a troll level inspired level that honestly takes itself a bit too seriously, but aside from that, it's a great level. It takes years to learn everything though, but once you do, it's not very hard. If all the memory aspects were removed, it would be even easier. This beginning is the least learning part because all the orbs show you the way essentially. Next is the hardest part in my opinion. There's tons of spots to choke at, so you have to have full focus. This part is really satisfying to pull off though. And this ending is holy. There's a few routes you can take here. They all go in the same general direction, but you hit different orbs to get there. Honestly, this is my least favorite part. It looks really cool and is a great climax to end off the level, but playing it just feels kinda weird. It's not bad, it's just a little bit janky. But it's not that big of a deal, you know? So yeah, that's Lost Love. It's on this list for not having a ton of hard spots, and once you learn everything, it won't take you very long to beat. But what if you aren't a memory person? Ladies and gentlemen, and neither one of those, welcome to a 42-second Extreme Demon. It's only that short because the song is that short. In fact, the song is so short that I can't even say everything I want to say in time, and I have to loop it. I mean, that's intentional anyway, so. This trippy level has a lot of confusing gameplay, but it's not too difficult to figure out. This first spider is honestly a joke. Once you learn it the first time, you're rarely gonna die here. The next two parts pick up the pace and test your ship maneuvering skills, and has a small bit of straight flight too. You might also notice this level has a lot of sync, which in the third part can be pretty awkward. There's not a lot of room for error, and a small thing you did in the past can affect how hard something is later, which I don't like that much. Next is probably the hardest part. I think the fact that it's hard to see some of the spikes makes it even harder. This part takes a while to get down. Even with the issues I mentioned, this level is still pretty fun. If you like shorter levels like this is for you. This is on the list because like I said, it's shorter than a first grader, and progressively gets harder with the easier stuff near the beginning. As of recording this, I beat this level last night, so what it has to offer is still fresh on my mind. My song is another short level, and is one of the easiest on this list. One thing you might notice right off the bat when playing this is that it has easy sections mixed in with actual timings. That's my biggest problem with this level. It just can't decide what difficulty it wants to be. 1 second you're literally buffering every click, and the next you actually have to do something. Please don't do this. The gameplay itself, despite being flow-based, just lacks the satisfying feeling that other flow levels have. I think that all has to do with the song just not being the best fit for gameplay like this. I think a different gameplay style would have worked better, but that's just my opinion. I know a ton of people adore this level so much, but I generally just don't. So try this if you want. There's a lot of other people that love it, so maybe you will too. This is just what I think though. So yeah, due to the fact that this level is less than a minute, and has a ton of easy parts, it's on the list. I would even argue that this is an insane demon in disguise. Here's our first older level, and certainly not the last. Incipient is decently known. It's a little janky, but not the bad type of janky, as it still gets consistent. Other than the dual ball right here, this duel was not very good. This level is a mix of all game modes. You can especially notice in the drop where the game mode switches constantly. The pre-drop focuses more on one at a time. So yeah, this level basically brings everything to the table. The first half is definitely harder than the second half, but it's not like way harder. Once you start making progress, it's pretty fun. But there are some small annoyances you can find. If you can ignore them though, there's some fun to be had here. Especially the drop. The drop is really good in my opinion. Pretty much all the issues are in the first half. Okay, I know I didn't say much here, but there's not that much to be said. It's just a decent level. It's on the list because, well, it's just not that hard. That's it. Now you might look at this level and go, holy hell, this looks terrible. I don't know if I'm going to be stoned to death for saying this, but I love this level. I thought this wasn't going to be fun when I started it, but it actually kind of was. I don't even know why. It does have some issues though. Due to this level being over 2.5 minutes, the bouncing isn't going to be spot on. But that's actually not that big of an issue, as the parts that were harder than the rest weren't that much harder, and they were consistent anyway. In fact, this whole level was consistent. If you're a fan of old 2.1 gameplay, this is definitely for you. This level is on here because I just want you to watch a few seconds of it and you'll see why. Yeah, most of its difficulty just comes from it being long. This is the worst level in the entire game. Like, whoever made this seriously needs to watch some more Battling with Lemons videos because the gameplay is garbage, the decoration is garbage, and heck, it doesn't even use Party Rock Anthem. It's objectively the worst level to ever surface the GD servers. Thanks for watching. Including my own level on here might be a bit unfair, but I want you to take another look at what series you're watching right now. But in all seriousness, a ton of other people think the same as me. A few people even say it's Incipient. Most people agree it's just an easy extreme though. PRA is a colorful and fast-paced level that I made with my friends, and it's also my first ever rated level. Just like Phantasmagoria, it gets more difficult as it goes on, building up to the drop at the hardest sections. This level is also like Incipient in a sense, where it features all game modes. Even some duels, but they're really short duels and easy. There's rapidly switching game modes in every fast part and quirky gameplay too. If you like quick sync timings, then this is for you. This is on the list because even with the drop, it's still pretty low end, and a lot of earlier sections are pretty easy compared to it. I hate this level, but I will admit it's pretty easy for an extreme. Gunslinger Corridor is the only rated death corridor level at the moment. Honestly, most of the gameplay isn't that hard. It's hard carried by the long wave in the middle. This wave is not just hard, it sucks, and it's pretty inconsistent too. I beat this a long time ago, so I don't remember how every part was like, but I remember it made me really angry, so that should be enough. This level requires a bit of raw skill in ship and wave. The other game modes aren't nearly as hard if I remember correctly. But yeah, if this level wasn't hard carried by some parts, this might be an insane demon. But it is hard carried by some parts, and that's why it's on the list too. I would not recommend this level, please don't play it, please, I'm begging you, please. I put the most popular levels at the end, because we've all heard about these. Talking about more obscure levels is more interesting because we hear about the same levels all the time. Let's change it up a bit. Anyways, troll level. The second and final memory level on this list. You may also remember I said this level inspired Lost Love to be made. This level is oddly fun, and I think a lot of people can agree with me on that. Sure, it takes less time to go to the moon than to learn this level, but once you do, pulling off consecutive parts in a row was so satisfying. Also, there's multiple routes you can take, just like the ending of Lost Love. Try looking at different completions of this level. They all take slightly different routes. Whichever one you take is whichever one you learn first. So yeah, cool level. It's on here for the same reason Lost Love is on here. Oh my god, I can't. Could I stop mentioning Lost Love? This is the third time that The last level I want to showcase in this video is Aku. Thanks for watching. Okay, but actually, it's kinda obvious why it's on here. It's extremely accessible. Like, you could probably beat this on a Super Nintendo if you found out a way. The gameplay is very 60Hz friendly. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's only one ship part. I think this is the most accessible extreme demon there is, which is why it's on here. And also just because it's really easy compared to every other extreme. Honestly, what else is there to say that hasn't already been said? This level has been popular since release and is still talked about and played and enjoyed by players for years. Well, enjoyed by most players. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel, and please avoid Gunslinger Corridor at all costs.